Welcome back to IGN Live from Gamescom here in Germany. It's time to check in with Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
Alex here is going to give us an update. Thanks for coming by the show.
No problem, it is loud here.
I know, it's really loud. It's a shouting match. At E3, you guys showed weaponized pachyderms.
Yeah.
How are you going to top that? Because that was so good.
Yeah, we thought this time we'd come back with some of the sort of breadth of the game. We wanted to show a lot of variety. We wanted to show the true sort of scope and scale of the game. So we brought a mission set in the Himalayas, where we wanted to show sort of snow, some extreme conditions, extreme wingsuiting, and more of the stealth gameplay that we've added here. Some of the cool things like being able to throw bait that you've harvested from hunted animals and attract other animals in to finish off unwary foes. We also brought in Shangri-La. So Shangri-La is kind of a chance for the player to live the myths and legends of the fictional country of Karat that we built.
Nice. So it looks like we'll be visiting some places that are very, very different than Far Cry 3.
Yeah, we wanted to really push the limits of the system, especially as we're coming to next-gen consoles. So you come all the way up to the tops of the Himalayas. You get pulled up there. Obviously, we've worked a lot on the AI. We've worked a lot on why these guys are there. These are pagan Min's forces hunting for the lost treasures of Shangri-La in the hopes of getting there. So it's kind of got a little Indiana Jones vibe going on.
Nice. So these are the temples where they have sort of set up their base. Is that right?
Yeah. So we wanted to sort of tie everything together and not have any sort of loose ends lying around. So basically, one of Pagan Min's lieutenants, Yuma, is up here hunting for relics to get into Shangri-La. But of course, this is a fantasy place, a fictional place, and the player will eventually get there sort of by discovering certain items and meditating on them, maybe indulging a little wacky tobacco, and then getting in there. But the characters in the game will never find it.
What sort of animals are we going to be running into here? We're seeing yaks.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's interesting because one of the things we wanted to do was provide contrast to the main game.
Yeah.
So when you're up in the Himalayas, you obviously have a lot less flora and fauna. So the usual tools that you'd use in the main game are not as useful. So you need to be stealthier. You need to change your tactics. You've got new abilities here like throwing knives that you can grab. Yep. The auto crossbow here, which is a great stealth weapon. Takedowns are still great. So we just wanted to sort of push the player into different types of gameplay as we move around the game. So you can see here too, like one of the core principles of any Far Cry game is that you can play the way you want to play.
Sure.
So here, you saw them using stealthier weapons. Here, the guys come up to the top with sticky bombs, a shotgun. You can attack even these sort of more structured missions any way you want, the same way you can in the open world. So.
Oh yeah, the wingsuits.
The wingsuits. Yeah, no, it's a cool.
Always a good time.
Yeah, and a chance of getting up to the sort of the peaks of these mountains is also a chance to do sort of more structured extreme wingsuiting. So you can use the wingsuit once you've got it at any point in the game. You can sort of climb up a hill and wingsuit off just because you wanted to, or to escape guys pursuing you in an outpost. But in the Himalayas, we've had a chance to really push it and have these sort of structured moments of cutting through ravines and sort of navigating really, really difficult wingsuiting environments.
So how much time will we be spending in the Himalayas? Like how much of the game is set here?
Yeah, not a huge amount. Okay. There's probably sort of 5 or 6 key moments when you need to get up here. Okay. So it's not mostly for us. It's contrast and a bit of a palette cleanser.
Sure.
You get up here and the color palette's different. It's it's extreme. It's very bleak, and then you get the nice feeling of arriving there, and also the nice moment of getting back. Our game is usually really, really colorful, really green, really vibrant. And after you've spent, 20, 30 minutes up here, it's kind of a relief to get back.
Yeah. Are we just taking the wingsuit all the way down here?
Yeah, this is the end of this particular mission we're showing on the floor at Gamescom, of just needing to wingsuit your way out of the encounter and get back here to the main world of Karat.
Very pretty. So that's a look at the Himalayas, but that's not the only piece that you're showing us today, right?
No. I think we also brought in the Shangri-La stuff as well, which is basically we're trying to deepen our living world. We were trying to provide more context, more believable characters in the world. And so we've invented a country, and we wanted it to be more than just the architecture. So we wrote sort of a fake religion for them, and then we wrote fake myths and legends.
Sure.
And this is mostly to inform the art. So, you know, if we're going to have you exploring a temple in the main game, we want it to feel like a real place. We want it to be grounded. If people are going to use the names of gods or the names of things, we want them to be consistent. And once we'd written it all, we thought, well, this is kind of fun. You know, wouldn't it be more fun to actually allow the player to go there? So, as I said earlier, if you find these tanker pieces, which are kind of weavings that tell the story of Shangri-La, and you meditate on them, you can actually go into and relive the legend of Kalinag, who was a warrior who freed the Bells of Enlightenment in Shangri-La, and bring skills from that learning back to the main game.
I see. Cool.
And again, it's a chance to do something radically different. You know, it's fun and very grounded to have real-world enemies and you know, a believable world.
Sure.
But sometimes I just love to make a shooter, you know, a complete fantasy shooter. So this was the way you couldn't make a game. You remember Hexen?
Oh yeah, for sure.
You couldn't. All those games these days you couldn't really make as a $60 AAA product. You know, it's a tough sell to make those games. But we can every now and again squeeze a chunk of that fun and sort of hide it in the bigger game of Far Cry 4.
Sure. I think, do you like to say that the environment is the main character in Far Cry?
Always, like the living world, really. The main character is the player, and the world is the best character. You know, and is the you know, the environment is the key to the story. And we really think of it as a place where we put in the tools and the toys and the opportunities and the challenges. And our goal is to let players tell themselves a story as much as it is for them to play through our story.
What are we seeing here?
So you're seeing some of these, as you explore Shangri-La, you'll find, and you know, there's a narrator setting the scene for you. You'll find the bodies of previous explorers as they tried to free the Bells of Enlightenment. So you're learning about the world of Karad, you're learning about their history by playing through it. So you see the different sort of enemy types here. The basic idea is that this area has been polluted, the Bells have been constrained, it's been overrun by these demonic characters. And by freeing the Bells and wiping them out, you slowly bring peace back to the land. Another cool thing with this is it gives us a chance to have characters that don't just do real world things. So you've got characters like these guys who will actually phase in and out, like almost teleport as you try to fight them. So again, you have to change your tactics. You have a unique bow in this. You don't have any automatic weapons or any of the sort of modern tools that you have in the main game. So you have to adapt your strategy as a player, and you have to adapt to the new behaviors of the enemy. I like these wild dogs here. Something of course, you couldn't do in a believable world of the main game, but we can do weird little things like have them detonate every time you can kill the dog, and if you use a headshot, you can use them almost like a landmine.
So we're seeing some of that phasing happening here?
Yeah. We've also got a tiger in this one. Again, animals are a huge part of our game. There's not just the sort of weaponized pachyderms, as you were saying. There's the honey badger, who's one of my favorites in the new one. There's rhinos, there's tigers, leopards, all that stuff. And there was always this idea of, wouldn't it be amazing to have my own like animal, almost a familiar. And in the main game, it doesn't really make much sense. But in this world, as part of the sort of the myth of Kalinag, we built your own tiger who can help you in instances like this. You can order him to attack in front of you and then come in for the takedown yourself.
So are there going to be, does Shangri-La have its own missions?
It's kind of there. It's more of a structured experience than the rest of the content in Far Cry 4. It is telling a very specific story, and even though they're exotic environments, they're a little more linear than the main game. Even though you can still be stealthy and action focused, you can use your own tactics. The missions themselves are more focused.
Does it still operates under the idea of the 3 pillars though?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's still very much a core Far Cry experience, but we do want it to contrast very heavily with the main game. When you're there, you have different tools, different challenges. If it felt exactly the same, then we may as well not do it.
So clearing outposts is one of my favorite things to do in Far Cry 3.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part of Himalayas or Shangri-La, or is that relegated to the main game?
Some people felt that the Himalayan mission felt a little bit like an outpost. So I think that some of that gameplay flavor is inescapable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like when it's a group of enemies in a focused area. But yeah, no, outposts are very much a big feature of the main game in the open world, not so much the sort of narrative structure of the game.
Yeah, well now you have fortresses even, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited about the fortresses. It's basically, you know, an outpost taken up several notches, highly defended. There's one fortress per antagonist. So there's basically 4 key antagonists in the game that work for Pagan Men, and each one has their own fortress, so they have a different flavor. Hopefully they provide a huge challenge for the player. And we're hoping that it encourages you to go away, reskill, or even invite your buddy into the game in co-op.
I was gonna ask, yeah. Alex, thank you so much for coming by the show.
Thanks so much.
Far Cry 4, I think it looks awesome. It's out, what, November
18th?
18th?
Not long.
I think a good pre-order bonus would have been if it came with like a cryo chamber, so then I could just go to sleep and wait
just
for the
wake
game
up
to come
and
out.
it's there.
Yeah, okay. Thanks again. The game looks awesome.
Cheers,
Really
buddy.
good. Stay tuned. We'll be back right after these messages with more IGN Live from Gamescom, brought to you by Dead Island 2.